Good evening, everyone. Good evening. Another hour of restoration, another restoration talks. So, we're going to head straight into it. I hope everybody had a good start of the Sabbath. I hope everybody is tuned in and ready. I hope everybody listening already knows our
Whoop,
subject
whoop, 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 whoop,
of
whoop, whoop.
today.
Black
Yes,
History
yeah, man, Black History. So
Month.
I think a lot of people are pumped about it. I checked a few. I checked like the shows. I saw far more comments than
Too many comments. Too many stress. Too
I.
much stress.
I think even on the 7 days, sometimes we have like two mediators or whatnot, like
Oh my goodness. Too much. Too much.
just to manage the whole thing. So
Yeah.
I think today won't be very different from that as well. So I hope everybody listening right now is liking, is subscribing. Um, I want to give everybody 1 minute at least to make sure
Share
that you share the link, share it with everyone. You
with
know,
auntie, with papa. People who need
Mm,
people who needs to be educated about Black history or who needs to be known. Who needs to know about
so
what happened.
I'm even going through my list right now. I'm looking at
You are sharing now. My
is my
what?
brother. I'm checking like is my brother online. I see the people online. They are too low. I need
Send
to
mm,
make
broadcast
sure
message.
send bro.
everybody that said they are supporting, they should be online right now. So I am actually very happy because I don't know if you guys are actually busy with Black History Month. I feel that in Europe, in Amsterdam, in the Netherlands, it's far less of a mainstream thing, I would say. Uh,
To chip in, that's mostly in, I think, November or October,
hmm,
because there are
In
two types of tomb periods. I think Europe of England has a different Black History Month than America, blah,
I
blah, blah. I don't know
see.
why, but mostly in Europe, it's around October, November that you will see all the events and so, and in America, it's February.
but is it different as in the dates or is it different as in the event?
Event is the same. Oh, it's still Black History Month, but they choose a different month to do it. And actually, the whole Black History, who was it? Was it Denzel Washington or so? He said, I don't like Black History Month. Why do we need Black History Month?
Yes, yeah,
Don't ask me anything about these things. It's
yeah.
it's 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 it's
It's
it's
a s-
nonsense.
it's a strange concept indeed because there's no Chinese
Morgan
history
Freeman.
month, there's no
Oh,
white
it's Morgan
history month,
Freeman. Yeah,
Yes, huh?
yeah.
there's
Yeah,
no
yeah, yeah.
white history month, Chinese history month. So the whole history is black history, but it's us that only has 1 month.
But what we do have, I feel, is in May. There's a lot of attention for things that happen to the Jewish people, Holocaust, all those memorial days and whatnot. So I don't know. In a way, I do think even people getting days off. Okay,
Mhm.
so I do think I'm not sure about it yet. Like should we or should we not?
It brings more awareness. If it wasn't there, we
Exactly.
would be, yeah, I don't know how it will be.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
don't know how it
Mm.
will be. It brings a little bit more awareness, and if you utilize it right, if it is in our favor.
Exactly. So no, I am actually quite happy that we could do this. I think last week our brother spoke very well about it. The ministers. I hope everybody had listened
Hmm.
last week. I think Minister Jeff was speaking about the Americas as well and what happened there. So yeah, for me it was teaching. I think for me the first thing in the intros etc. that stuck out for me was about, I think it's called the Bering Strait.
Oh yeah, 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 yeah.
I was
That's
like,
strange.
why don't I know this? Why
Yeah,
don't
yeah, yeah.
it like when you have a map, it always seems so far away.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. But this is an easy crossover.
Yeah, I was like, okay, so especially knowing that the Earth, or at least like the continents, at a certain point they were connected to each other.
But yeah.
It makes sense that the outer parts then of it, they are so broad
Mhm.
that they somehow are actually quite close to each other again, because there should be like connecting points where it goes all around the globe or close to all around the globe, right?
Mhm.
So for me that was interesting. um, yeah, well, so do you
And
guys have things as well that stuck out?
yeah, the same thing, because also the thing that comes with that idea is because Russia and America, they are actually very close to each other because of the map situation. You always think like when you look at the map, oh, Russia and America, they are very far apart, but
Yeah,
the Bering Strait brought forward that they actually close to each other. So have if they're in a conflict, then the missile doesn't have to travel very far. It's just around the corner.
yeah,
Mhm.
yeah, yeah.
So that's indeed something that also I found interesting. But
I was
yeah, no, that yeah.
no, I was even thinking like I I don't know if it's a form of propaganda. I actually still need to research it better. But I was always before I was always thinking it. I know it's childish, okay,
Hmm.
but I was always thinking that if a missile would have been shot by the Americas or whatever from, let's say, even if it were Alaska or whatever, if they would want to shoot at Russia, they would have to go over Europe and whatnot, past Africa and whatnot, all the way to. And now I'm like, oh, they can just shoot the other way around and then be there in seconds. Because I heard about like missiles that.
Yeah, yeah. Ah,
Yeah, it's crazy, man. Crazy.
true, 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 true. And one thing what also really captured my mind was also when basically a small summary for those who hasn't followed it. Basically, it started all from Africa, and then people went into Europe, and then from Europe they would pass to Russia into into the Americas,
Yeah,
Russia into the Americas, Hawaii area there, and all the artifacts of all the things, the research, the findings, you may name them, you may search them up for Magnon and blah blah blah. They were all black, and that is something we overlooked so easily. From oh yeah, basically they were black, and they all migrated their way to there. But I
yeah,
was also finding that they could also travel through the sea. So
Hmm.
some were then through, let's say they could quote unquote walk from Russia area to America, but there were also people could also take the sea, let's say from Australia area to the Americas, North America, but also from Africa to the Americas. So
mm,
it's too much populated.
yeah,
Hmm.
If you go left, it's like when you go black, you never go back because
Go black.
it's everywhere, and that's really interesting. And for me, then also having all these mindset and all these thoughts, I had one question that okay, now let's say the not let's say it is true as what Randy said. The world is black. Why is there a Black History Month one period? While actually we are the foundation of it. But let's put that aside. Follow me. Now we are in a digital era and everything has been exposed. The books have been exposed, blah, blah, blah. But
Hmm.
at the same time, we are also in a brainwashed or an area where our mind has been numb, has been set numb, as
Hmm.
in, oh, it doesn't matter. Um, you just focus on the little thing. Basically, we are in a certain in a certain vision.
Hmm.
mhm,
My question is, are we? more being, or if the generation this time more awake of our history presence as being black people, or are we more asleep with all the hypes,
Hmm.
with all the trends, with social media, basically focusing on other things. But at the same time, there's also a lot of knowledge available. What are your stance on that? Curious.
I think people are somehow more awake, but I think that they are choosing to believe what they want to believe.
Hmm.
Like there are so many paths of black excellence and things, and you sometimes see they take some of the history, and the history is true, but you see them ending up in self-worship. You see them then yeah, bringing their whole life in a whole different direction. It's not changing their mindset as a community. It's not changing their mindset into how to live together. You see some people take it and use it for their own benefit.
Hmm.
But yeah, I really think that, and some of them actually do use it to build up
Then
a
you're talking
community.
about the what is it? The conscious community.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
okay, okay.
the woke community. So, so we were kings, we were queens, and they're just walking in a mindset like, okay, we were great once, but now I'm still living low and I don't care. I'm just walking prideful, and they're just living their life anyhow. So they don't use that knowledge of the past and they were great in order to change their life. It's more of
Okay,
a
but what
confirm.
should they do then?
Huh?
What should they do?
They
What should
That
should
they
is
do?
the question. What
change
should
their
they do?
Yeah.
life.
Huh?
Change their life. Like
But
for
I
example,
okay.
Now we have a Dr. Umar running
Yeah.
the. And
Yeah.
Dr. Umar always have that. We have to set up our foundation. We want to. Are
yeah,
you going that route or?
yeah, but yeah, I understand what he's saying, but you cannot do it by yourself
Okay.
Okay.
because I can do, I can want something very bad if it's affecting it should affect a whole community. If the whole community doesn't want to work along with you, they're going to fight you, and you'll end up frustrated and leaving them for what they are.
Okay.
So I understand him, but yeah, it's hard.
But then the solution is
Is to live your own life and do what you can, and whoever you can inspire with how you live, you go along with.
hmm. Okay. 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 Yeah. I do agree in on that part, but I do think that like um I would say there is a lot of I would call it awakening. Um, First, there was a time where we discovered knowledge of self, of our Black history, etc. I think for a long time it has been hidden. If you think about knowledge about blacks that has been burned down when they burned down like the libraries that were in Africa. I would say knowledge has been hidden away. Even if we think about the what is it, Vatican City, I know for sure that there are
Too
some
many hidden books.
hidden books nobody wants to
Artifacts.
expose. Explain to me the Black Madonna. I want to know the history of it. I want to know who's what is their inspiration. Why did they make all those things? So I do think there is a point that helps us to grow when we know our history, when we know who we are, and especially I believe in the strength of words. Okay, and because we focus a lot on don't tell your child that he's a foolish child, don't tell your child that he's ugly, don't tell your child that he's dumb, whatnot. I think those things have now come to the surface that it's not good for your the confidence of your child. But
Mhm.
now it's time for us to also use that which was used against us, to use it as a positive. Call your child beautiful. Call your child smart. Call your child lovely. Call your child made in the image of Yah. So I do think it's good that people call themselves kings and queens and whatnot. Actually, I believe that the day this brother Randy gets in love, okay, he will call his lady my sweetie honey, my butterfly, my queen, the mommy of the house. Yes. So I think it is.
How
I
did
know,
we get
I
Why
here?
did
know
you
these
move the
type of
screen?
guys. I know these type of guys. They will tell you don't use, just be humble. The moment they get in love,
Ah,
they
what
will
a
start
link.
doing it. But I do agree. Then the next phase is okay. Now try to abide by the words that you speak. Right. So if you call yourself a king, try um, to carry yourself as a king. If you believe you're
Hmm.
a queen or a princess or whatnot, sometimes you start first with a word of hope, and then
Hmm.
you try to follow it up with actions. Like some people say, fake it till you make it. So
Mm.
I don't
You
know
know
if you
who's in the
guys,
chat?
huh?
John Royals.
Ish back
Ah,
again.
Royals.
Wow, wow,
Salute
wow,
you,
wow,
salute you,
wow, wow,
salute
wow,
you.
wow,
The
wow, wow, wow.
OG, the OG, the OG, the OG.
Greetings,
The
greetings.
the guy himself. Because he also said the positive words from parents really help.
Right.
As in but then but okay. But going back to my question then is then are we being more exposed to knowledge or are we make more or are we being where is this generation or era where are we going? Are we going towards there is more knowledge and we are reading it and we are understanding ourselves the more, or are we being more dumb, more brainwashed, more whitewashed? Because
I,
of trends, because of trends, because of phone, social media.
I actually think that we are actually on a part of us. I think this is what scripture was talking about, that those that have will have more, and those that don't have, from them will be taken even more away. So you will have nothing, because the instead of not having information, they have seen that they can't keep the information from us, so they do misinformation now. So those that are not able to discern what is right and what is wrong,
Mhm.
those that do not have uh, a circle of trust, those that do not have an intellectual group, it's like scripture that tells us that in the council, what is it? Uh, I will
In the
just,
midst.
yeah, in the midst of counselors there is safety, right? So if you have the right people around you and you have a spirit of discernment, you will find a lot of answers, because all information is right there. We were just talking about ChatGPT, and now people are going over to DeepSeek. But anyway, um, so I think we are more knowledgeable, but I think it's only the part of people that are actually searching for the truth, and that is a sad, sad, sad story. So yeah, I'm curious what our brother Randy, but also the listeners at home, feel free to comment on the question that our brother asked.
Sense
I'm
is that we are playing it safe.
I'm curious. Is it possible that make the screen that we are all equal again?
Too much
Maybe-
pressure.
Pressure? You believe
Too much
pressure?
pressure, 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 pressure,
Put
I'll
pressure,
yours,
put our,
yeah,
pressure,
yeah.
pressure,
Put
yes,
yourself.
yes.
Put yourself
pressure,
in this
pressure,
We'll
position.
pressure.
put our brother there. Yes.
Ah,
We are playing it
pressure,
safe. She's
pressure,
telling
pressure.
us. Do you guys agree?
But
Are we playing it safe in this time?
Pressure, pressure, pressure. No,
Okay,
joking, joking.
okay,
I'll joke, I'll
guys.
joke, I'll joke, I'll joke, I'll joke, I'll joke. Uh,
what does a person mean with playing it safe?
That our generation is not as, I think it's more meant mentioned, like, the for instance, we had the Black Panthers, right?
Mm-hmm.
They were quite a radical group, in, like, if you look at Black history, consciousness, etc. they were actually pushing the agenda.
Yeah, exactly. That was something
Sorry,
that.
I was still thinking of pressure, pressure, pressure. Sorry, continue.
Okay, okay.
I'm even getting more
Oh, okay,
heavy.
okay.
No, but
Because
but
Yeah,
these
Randy, yeah.
the even the Black Panther part, I was thinking about it today, because if I was thinking about Black history, that somebody that was a group that was standing for us as a people, and it was the Black
Hmm.
Panther. They wouldn't take things from anybody. They stood up for our people. So that was something I truly liked. Yeah, when I say liked, I
mm.
acknowledge it.
But then
Like,
the same thing is then it's not it was not a black producer who made it. Understand what I mean? So
no,
basically, let's say Black Panther, the movie.
who made it? We're not
Oh,
talking
the
about the
movie.
movie. We're not talking about.
No, the real.
Oh,
Oh,
We're
sorry.
not talking
I
about
missed
the
the boat.
movie,
No,
Salor.
the
I missed the
movement,
boat.
the
The
movement.
movement, not the movie.
There were actually people in America. They would
Yeah, but it was
have black
inspired because of the
power.
movie.
No, the
Oh, the 60s,
yeah,
70s.
these are guys.
You
Yeah.
see?
Ah,
Okay, okay,
Because
okay,
your
go.
head was still talking about the pressure, pressure, pressure.
Uh,
That's why.
it's
exactly,
the
exactly, and
pressure.
that is exactly, and I double down on my own point
Yes,
because
yes.
now it's coming because
Ah,
now what they are shifting. I think you also said it, James, that now
yeah.
they are shifting it to make our focus on something else. Or I think it was
True.
Randy,
True.
but using the same verse concept. So now you say Black Panther. Of course, they will do that because now we think of the movie, but there's actually a hidden, more
Mm,
historical, more context related to the
yeah,
Black Panther movement. And I totally forget. Oh, that's really bad. I see. I also fell for it.
yeah.
Mhm.
Crazy.
I
That
also fell for it.
yeah. I
Yeah.
totally forgot. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
Randy. Okay, sorry, continue. Now I understand the context. The Black
Yeah.
Panther movies movement. Uh-huh.
But there's another thing, context also why I think it's important to teach Black history to people or to our children or to the next generation, because you're going to put me in the spotlight again.
Come on.
No,
Continue with it.
the thing that I was thinking about was, let's say for example a child, because I saw a video last, was it yesterday? Yeah, of a little black child that he was, it was a teenager, and he went up the stairs, and there was a little white boy, maybe 5 or 6 years old. He was blocking the stairway. Like the boy, he wouldn't allow the 13-year-old teenager boy, black boy, to pass. He had a certain mindset in his head, like, okay, I'm superior, I'm going to block the stairs, so you're not passing. And then the mother was standing behind her teenage son, and she was, um I don't know, she was pampering him, her son. And I would think, like, if you teach your son his background, his history, how great it is, he would be much more confident in who he is. Like, okay, you're not going to look down upon me because you're a little white boy. I know where I come from, and I have pride in where I come from.
Hmm.
It's not only slavery, it's not only these things, because many of our youths, they become insecure when they're at school because they do not have a history, like for example, the white history is being taught in schools. They were great, they conquered the world.
Yeah,
The Asians also have their history, samurais fighting and those kinds of things. All these other nations, they have a cool background, but we as black people, we only know, or we
Slavery.
don't know anything, or it is slavery, and slavery is very shameful. So you're very insecure in growing up, you're very
yeah,
insecure in going to school. So
yeah,
if you acknowledge your black history and what the things that are great about your black background, then you're more confident when dealing with people or things in society. And it was a very sad video. Maybe I'll share it later in the group or whatsoever, but it was a sad video. Like, the mother was, yeah, maybe I can look it up, then we can share. Then you guys can see it for yourself.
yeah,
Yes.
man.
Share the video, share the
Yeah,
video.
let me.
Here now? You mean
Yeah, let
now?
me let me let me search it.
Hey, you are in the
Yes.
spirit.
Send me the link, then
Yeah,
I
yeah,
can share it in the
yeah,
comments as
yes,
well.
yes. But
But
yeah, that is very sad. That is something that I find very important.
yeah, man. Yeah, that is true. Because if I think about the Black Panther movement as well, I know that they would educate the people on certain things. So if you would have a child, between certain ages they would learn certain things, how to do it. Men at a certain age would have, they had to be able to do certain things like fight or whatnot, or guns. You had to be fit, all these things. I think even in what is it called in America, Nation of Islam, they still have something which is quite similar.
Hmm.
So I do think that we indeed, yeah, there, I think there is a loss of information as well. We need
Hmm.
to think about it. But hey,
That,
I do you
hmm
have a because I
Oh,
actually I was thinking about this as well, but a bit from a different angle. Because then, you
I
know,
s-
you have all these, I would say, these subjects that come up during Black History Month,
hmm
and I think it does help us to rise, and get to know ourselves even more. I think it's nice how you see our brothers, our ministers, marrying history with scriptures. Taking the book of Yasher, combining it with Genesis, showing us that all nations started from one. No, knowing that our father Noah, he was a progenitor, and then you have all these nations now around the world that might not even identify as black, right? And some of them might be wondering, what do they have to do with all this information? I know I heard a minister, and he was
mm.
like, the message, the message is
It's for
focused.
my own.
Yes,
It's for the people
exactly.
of my own.
Exactly. So I was like, I do agree with that. So I was actually having two questions,
Yeah.
for you guys. If a non-black does hear uh, the messages that are being heard, how do you think they should respond? And why do you think
Why?
that not all black people are invested in this? Because to be honest, sometimes I'm worried. I don't understand. Like, how come all our parents are not educating us on Black history? I don't understand.
Yeah, yeah, good point. Some parts also what Sensi mentioned, Sensi Missy, that one we are playing it safe. And I think one comment was also even if we know the truth, we are still looking at what the people around us will do. So a bit of fear,
Hmm.
of it. We are waiting for who will make the first move. Who is
Yeah.
making the first move? And
Uh,
some part of it is then also related to religion, of course, because then I would say that okay, who will make the first move? Oh yeah, you know what? The Messiah will come and then he will save us. We will go into new heaven, so we don't need, that's also be indoctrinated. So we don't need to build something for our own. We don't need to work on ourselves. It doesn't matter. It will be okay. So that's one part, and forgot, another part is then why would people not know their roots more is distraction. That's why I really think there's an important component in this society which we overlooked is there's a lot of distraction.
hmm.
It is.
Yeah.
Before you didn't have, if you walk down the street, there are uh, they would even say that there are over 100,000 decisions that you have to make because of all the adverts that you would see flooding your mind, the different cars, the different this, and there is so much distraction, and that can say that yeah, that's not important. I will just worry about the things of my life. Um, yeah, yeah, that's one thing, and yeah, concerning your first question, maybe we can tackle that later. But this is really why I also want to dwell in it. Is echt distraction, and I like what Sensi also mentioned. Not just Black history, know your family roots. That. hands down.
Yeah,
Ish.
exactly. Because yeah, there are many things that are distracting us nowadays, and you have to ask yourself, why are they distracting you, and what are they trying to distract you from? Because when we collectively as a people find out the things that they are distracting us from, when you go, as Sanchi says, you go into the roots, the roots, how deep a root of a tree is in the ground. And
Hmm.
when you get there, you will get certain knowledge and understanding how to go about life. For example, how where our spirituality comes from, how we
Yeah.
ought to walk in it, because many of the things that we're experiencing today as a people have something to do with our spirituality,
Hmm.
and they are trying to distract us from that.
Black people are too spiritual, true.
Too spiritual, and that's why they that's why they are trying to distract us with all kinds of Hollywood things, movies, all kinds of crazy videos. They are trying to disconnect us from our spirituality, and they're
Hmm.
trying to
Hmm.
let us assimilate with them to forget our spirituality. And that's where the curse comes in for us, because we are not keeping ourselves to our spirituality, because our spirituality is our blessing. Spirituality is what causes us to strive to
Hmm.
do well. And if we're disconnected from that, we're just living anyhow. And that's why you see that our communities are messed up. Nobody respects one another. Everybody's gossiping. Everybody's doesn't regard a community anymore. It's just do me, live my life, do whatever. And that's breaking us apart. But
Hmm.
we're not seeing that because we're only distracted by the things that they are throwing at us. So
and
yeah.
and one thing to add also on that part of spirituality, when because now when we say go back to your history or go
Hmm.
back to your spirituality or go back to your source, it comes with a certain culture.
Hmm.
It comes with a certain way of living, a certain way of thinking, and that has been removed from us while we are just living aimless, with a lot of pride or hate, envy. We lost other things. But when you go back to, let's say, the prince, let's say, now we say, um, Black history, know your history, go back to your roots, go to the source, go. It is basically saying then going back to your culture and know how to apply it. There are so many. If we would even talk about the level of proverbs that are applied in African or in African diasporas countries, I would call them country. The whole record was black, but in countries, and let's make it simple, in Africa only, if you would just live by them, you wouldn't need a motivational video from from Tim on Snapchat and say, yeah, you can do this. No, because it's already in your culture to
Hmm.
respect others, to take care of yourself. Yeah, it's I really like it.
Yeah, exactly. Now we have to manufacture motivational to go forward. We have to. It's like, for example, the crazy thing like Ghana. Something that just said Ghana is importing rice from other countries for picnic.
Yeah,
Hey,
yeah,
hey,
yeah.
hey, 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 hey.
Now we have to do those kinds of crazy things. We have to watch a motivational video on our phone in order to go about life.
Leave Ghana alone. We have a
I
new
leave,
president.
leave Ghana
We have
alone,
a
huh?
new president.
This I have hope with president. I have
he might,
hope. You've only there. You don't live there. You don't know the struggle, the pressure, pressure,
ah,
pressure.
he might be a saving grace.
You don't know the
uh,
pressure, pressure, pressure.
I won't get into that.
Pressure.
I can hear my father shouting on the radio. Uh,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Anyways. Well, I'm hoping that people at home are at least blessed, because a lot of things are not necessarily to our benefit. I
Yeah.
think things like, for instance, you have Valentine's Day and all these things, Easter or whatnot. A lot of these things are deceptions. Um, but I think it is our time to, we are getting conscious. I think on the European side of Black History Month and all these things. I think it gives us a chance, an opportunity to enlighten people around us.
Mm.
Because in a way, I feel like sometimes we might come across as, uh, extremists. Because why are they so involved in color? Why do they care so much about color? But it's about getting to know yourself,
Mm.
right? And so I think um, you can use this opportunity to do your research and not only know it for yourself, but share with others that are around you. So yeah.
I think I see Jamie asked a good question in the comments. Maybe we can
But get
elaborate on
get
that.
black white. Get black with me also responded. My both we can answer both.
I think Jamie was first, so maybe we can start with that one. He says, I hear a lot of negative points, which makes sense. But do you guys think it contributes to real structural change, or does it unintentionally place the black community in a negative light in some way if you only talk about the negative things? How do you see
Hmm,
that?
good question. I think that is why I was pro kings and queens
Mhm.
because I do agree as well that it doesn't help to shed light on our negatives, and in a way almost forgetting all the positive things that we have done. I
Mhm.
actually think that that was the agenda from the start. And
Mhm.
I, to be honest, I don't even think, especially during Black History Month, that there is a negative anything or around blacks. I think it's actually a period in which we focus on getting to know what is amazing about black people, getting to know that our hair is able to resist the sunlight, that our skin is beautiful, golden, and
Yeah.
it resists sunlight. It's getting to know that we were kings and queens. It's getting to know that we were inventors. Getting to know, yeah, we were all that, and we are more and more than able to do even more.
But I think it's a good point what Jamie said. But I think in order the structural change that he may refer to,
Hmm.
we ourselves as a small little, let's say we three, we cannot bring that structural change. It has to come from a bigger community, or let's say the government should implement certain things that
Ah,
may trigger the structural change. But
ju-
the only thing that we can do is um hoe zeg je dat? Bring up certain things that we see as
Remy,
negative.
he sounds like a Ghanaian citizen right now.
Hmm?
government must do. They must build roads.
No,
Governors should build the
Bro,
roads.
what do
government
you
needs
mean,
to build roads.
bro? I don't agree with that. I think people underestimate their impact that they can make. Sorry, like
Okay, give me
do
an
what.
example. Give me an example then.
Okay, I will give you an example. Okay, so there during our Black History Month research,
Mm-hmm.
I found a man. I think he was called Tunde. He's one of the biggest partners of what is the company called, McKinsey in
Mm-hmm.
UK. Okay, so I was looking up amazing people that are inspirational and black. If you can find them online, search him. It's amazing. This guy, he is he was
To some
CFO of one of the
to some
biggest
bacteria.
managerial positions in the world, I would say, because McKinsey, they advise governments, they advise big companies, whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
If one of us is able to get into a position like that,
Mhm.
how
Mm-hmm.
much doors can you open for your people? Because he can start a new company, he can make sure that more people get a fair opportunity, like for instance, when you go into a conversation because you want a job within the company. So I believe we need to aspire higher and be an example for the generations that come after us.
I'll be radical, guys. We are building our wealth in an European context still.
Yeah. Uh,
Nee, maar yeah, ook. Because you are waiting for government to change. And
Yeah,
she is
please
talking
don't.
about Mackenzie to make
so
we should just go China. Punt.
Ah,
Close all close
how?
all borders. Whole Africa should go close all borders, stick everything together,
Okay,
import everything.
but we
From go
cannot build
China.
anything.
Go
We
China
cannot.
or go nothing. Yo,
But
we kunnen. We can
okay,
build.
okay,
We can build.
okay.
government.
Ik begrijp
If we
dat.
say if we say we are the inventors here, we say we are the inventors, but now we
Yeah.
say we cannot build.
We're
We can
laag.
build.
We're laag.
Okay. So Shalom, I am curious. So who is we are
Alsof
we
we
are
laugh.
we are not
Because
no
because black
we
with
are the
me
head and not the tail. I
because
will
Black with
break
Me
the
is also talking about from why is Black History Month on the hook for bringing about structural change. Hoezo moet het altijd om dat gaan? Of
Luister, I think again, I think because our brother here is talking about Africa must close borders. They should open them. I should be able to enter. So
free market.
don't. But I do think indeed becoming more self-sufficient should be part of it. But the question is, who's going to teach them the systems that will be able to do that?
Yeah,
It's
until now, all the system that has been taught onto us has only been for our destructions.
yeah.
So
So
rather
that
reinvent our own, of not invent,
exactly, but
going
that
back
is
to our
true.
own culture, our way of thinking,
Yeah, but
going back to the
it's
source,
too
and
late.
then it
It's too
changes.
late.
It's not too late. I
No,
think so.
not
One
too
of
late.
us,
Uh,
it doesn't
ex-
matter if it is somebody here or somebody there, but one of us should make the sacrifice. Because if you're going to do this, you know how this system is that we're living in. Some CIA guy or whatnot will start to
that's why I
hunt you
said go
down.
China. That's why I said go
I
China.
think you guys are missing the context because we're too far. You know how much years Africa's behind, in development. Do you have an estimate of that?
No, 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 no. I don't agree.
You don't
I
agree.
understand what you're saying, but we as Africans, we have been able to overcome despite everything. They want to kill us. They kill all the boys. Suddenly, our amount of Israelite babies are starting to rise in Egypt. We have survived. If you think about it, Africa, India, all these countries, same thing. They are countries their development is years and years behind. Yet, those countries are countries with the most mobile phones per household or whatnot, in some cases. You will see that America, they are still sending checks for payments. they're, they're still sending paper things. And if the paper goes to the wrong house, they have to wait another 3 weeks before it gets corrected. Whilst in Ghana, you just send text message and you have your money.
Ilevi.
Snap je?
Yeah,
Mobile payment.
Just like Get Black with me says, we have to organize our thoughts first. Our thoughts are scattered. It's are scattered over the place.
Yeah, but the question is how long? How long are we going to gather our thoughts? That's more. How long are we going to gather?
It's not how
Because
long.
how
It's
how
how.
lo- how long are we going to have such gist topics? And then
Till, till, till,
yearly will come back December two times a year.
till the
There's
most high
going to be a
returns back.
change.
I
Yeah, yeah,
That's how long.
at least.
I
Yeah,
think
yeah. You can save your own soul, hè? Ik bedoel,
Yeah.
tegenwoordig.
and that is why I
Tegenwoordig.
think we need individuals that are willing to sacrifice.
Are you
We
willing to sacrifice?
I am willing to sacrifice certain things and
Sacrifice for what?
I am
Yeah.
Sacrifice
working
for
on
what?
it. I have
For what?
we have a friend.
Hmm.
Huh? I won't mention his name, but we call him Don, Big Don. He has said one of us in our friend group. He said one of us is going to have to sacrifice for the rest of us, so that so that we
It will
make it
pave the
in
way.
life. So that we make
Mm.
it in life. One of us is going to work 70 hours, so that you will cause opportunities to arise within the community. And I think that same thing will have to happen. If you look very well at, for instance, Nigerians, they study very hard. They work very hard. What not because they have a certain pride that has been built within them from even when they are being brought up. So some of us will have to start to believe that You can talk about yourself, you can't make it. As for me, I can make it. And I will make it because I want to help my people. I want to buy my mother a house, or I want to help my people in my country, or I want to see my kinsmen. I want to see them raised. So if people are like there's no structure there and blah blah blah, let individuals start to fix themselves, and then look for like-minded people with whom you can walk, because I believe they are there. They are there, but you need to be on those levels so they are willing to talk with you. Because I've seen a lot of Nigerians with two masters, three masters, and what all not. There are people out there. So I think we need to aim higher, man, as a black people, because we are doing well, but now there's a system we have to fight.
The reason I'm laughing is that Get Black is asking, "Are we located in Africa?" No, we are in the Netherlands, but the way we are talking is like we are in Ghana.
We
We
are
are
talking.
suffering.
We,
No.
we, we love Africa.
I wish I was located. Nah, do I wish it? That I was located in Africa right
But
now.
uh, yeah, yeah. Oh, maybe sometimes
Yeah,
no. But
I think
Depends where.
I think anyways it.
short term,
Mhm,
to give my last 2 cents, I think to answer this question, I I like where he's going because he said we have to organize our thoughts first,
mhm,
um, going going to a certain direction to see where are we going. Um, if I would say short term, mid term, long term goals, but I don't know all the answers, but I think on short term level or period, what would be really really good is not go back because of going back and to know all the knowledge and let's say history and you know the whole world was what Minister Jeff also said. Fine, it is not knowing that the world was black that can bring you salvation. It is
mhm.
not knowing that you have invention, you know that you could build, you can do this, it can bring you salvation.
Yeah.
So in all things to say short term, one of the thing that has been really, really taking away from us, and I think Randy wonderfully mentioned, is that part of also spirituality. Um, because if we are in tune with ourself, with the higher self, even Yahuwah, and let's say not, of course, not the whole world. Now I'm doing as if the whole world, all blacks are Israelites or so. That's not what I'm what that's not what I'm trying to say. But if we go back to our way of living, our culture, our mindset, our commandments, it can bring so much more peace in your direct environment, in your community, and that can transcend.
Mm,
So I think that's really important on short term because now we are trying to change the world for to change it to our benefits. And yeah, they have to, Europe have to, America have to do this and this. But we have to understand it is their world.
Mhm.
We have just leave everything go. Just let everything go and let's go back to ourselves and assess our own. I think that's really important.
Yeah, and I really want to add to that is I think it's important, um, just as the comment section said, a tree without roots. What is it? Without knowledge of your history, it's just like a tree without roots. So if you don't know where you come from, who you are, what your identity is, why there are certain things that you are doing and other nations are doing it differently, is because of their culture. We need to get understanding of that, and that those are like little breadcrumbs that lead to the whole loaf. So I think we need to come to that understanding first. Understand where you come from, what is your identity, and just as Shalom mentioned, spirituality. That is also where your identity is found. And if you get a hint of that, then you can look into it. Then you will find, okay, with my culture, there are certain things that I do in life and
mm,
things that I don't do. and those things will bring you to the understanding, okay, if I don't do this, for example, if I don't if I listen to my parents, I don't disobey them, it shall be well with me.
Yeah.
If I follow a certain diet, certain things I don't eat, I will be healthier, I will live longer. If
Mm,
there are certain morals that I have, for example, I don't mistreat women or lusting and go around doing all kinds of things, womanizing, I will be a respected figure and people will look differently to me.
mm,
Those are all things that will benefit you, and if you live by that example, it also benefits your people because you're not abusing them, you're not stealing from them. And if we all live by that mindset because it belongs to our culture, we can grow together. And that's why I emphasize, I also talk with Shalom about it a lot. Community is something that we are missing right now. Everybody is doing by themselves, just doing things. I believe in this. I walk by my own mindset. But I think we need to grow more as a community. So that was my final thing.
nice, nice. I think we have gone far past time, but I think that is a good closer. So I think we had a good en- engagement from the people at home as well, and that's what we're looking for. I think this month we're just trying to shed on light on something that's a bit different than normal. We're trying to link history, specific Black history, to scripture, and yeah, I think we have shared some things that will spark people their thoughts. So I have a last question for all people at home, and we will answer it first, and then hopefully the people at home will
Not
talk in.
hopefully, they will do it.
Yes,
They
Yes,
they will
yes.
do
must
it.
do it. They
Yeah.
must do it.
Brother, my elders have spoken. So,
Must do it in the comment section. In the comment
so
section,
I have a
everybody.
last question for everyone. What are the improvements that we are capable of making by ourselves in our communities that can spark a change? Uh, yeah, that can spark a change that can benefit generations after us. So for myself, I would say what our brother just said. Um, I think being a good example. I believe that uh, being being a good person, being a person that is respected, that is an example, that is uh, a good citizen in its environment, it has a snowball effect. So we should not neglect the deeds that we do on a daily basis. You know, I think that can contribute to the betterment of Black people. In my case, as a Black man, so I am curious to what you guys believe that you can do by yourself. It's nice to talk about how much impact. I don't care about how much impact you have. With the impact that you have, what are you able to do? So, brothers, do you have something to share?
Um, I would say, um, for myself,
Yeah.
um, I am actually a very competitive person.
Hmm.
And when I look at the other nations and I see them, for example, on the work floor, they're excelling in good behavior and acting like they are well educated and they have socially good norms. And you know them, they after work they go drink at parties and those they do all those kinds of things, but they are still behaving themselves in a certain way that people respect them. And I
Mm,
think to myself, I am a believer and I'm not doing those things like drinking and partying. So what is stopping me from also excelling even more? I
mm,
can behave myself better, I can behave myself more respectfully, and therefore be an example to my younger siblings, the younger children that may look upon me on the streets. And I come in a place, I can tell them I don't do these things, yet I am a person that is excelling in life. Therefore, I can maybe spark a fire within them that they, hey, this guy is not a rapper or a footballer. He also has other qualities that can cause you to excel in life,
yeah,
and
yeah.
that they may also get intrigued by that. So I want to live, say, I want to live by example. lead
mm,
by example and be an example by myself. That means living to a certain standard that was taught to you by my culture.
mm. Nice, nice. Our brother Shalom.
Guys, I cannot match it. To be honest,
I
I
you
cannot
can you
match.
can do it.
I can do it. No, joking. But for I think one thing is it was, of course, it might all come down to be an example. So if you cannot take anything away from this whole thing, just be an example to the rest of your environment.
Hmm,
But one thing I would add, of not but, and one thing that I will add is, let's start positive, is at times we view ourselves as the underdogs, as low mental, whole, as in we don't esteem ourselves in a certain level, not having the confidence in ourselves.
hmm.
And I'm even talking in the context of black on black, not even black in the white community or what, but even black on black community. We
Yeah.
just view ourselves low, fun. I cannot, or I'm not able to, or it will be difficult to push. And one thing I'm really, really passionate about is always to um, trigger the underdogs to say, hey, you can do it.
Hmm,
It is possible. There are
yeah.
so many examples. I'm not, and I will not even use myself as an example. It would be nice to use you, Randy, or James, or Get Black with Me, Melda, Sensi, Jamie Well, so many people, just to say, hey, they also did it.
Hmm.
Yeah.
They were also possible. They were also able to do it. And that message is something why I'm really passionate about that, is because yeah, I think low self-esteem, it really, really crushes our faith, our 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 goals, our perception. It crushes so many things.
Hmm,
Uh, and there's a quote of failure. No, I'm not match that quote, but it crushes so many dreams, and that's something I'm really want to put on our heart. And if you don't know where to find it, just read scriptures. It can just, you can just put on Psalms, Proverbs, just re-listen that message just to ignite your spirit.
yeah.
That's what I will always put on people's their heart.
Nice, nice. I love it, man. I
Hmm.
think even us sitting here this beautiful evening, it's the proof that three black people can come online without shouting at each other, and
Yeah, I just have to say this because it's really funny, because Get Black with Me talks about the Africans and diasporas. And the
yeah.
fun thing is, I am an African, Randy is an Suriname, and James is the mixed guy.
Yeah.
Hey, hey,
So we have everything. We
We
have the
have
whole
snap
sauce.
everything.
it, snap
Yeah.
it.
This
Yeah,
lineup, we have the
man.
whole sauce.
We
Yeah,
have
man.
we
So
have everything
dude,
here, and we are not
no need to
fighting.
talk about the differences and all
Yeah,
No.
these things.
We
No,
work a
man.
lot very well. Just me and
Yeah.
Shalom, we do things together. We are
Okay,
coming
okay, beef
together.
met je. Mama para.
Okay, good, 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 good.
But
Yeah.
Anyway, so we're
love.
ending on a positive note. I think I'm
Yes.
happy that we were able to do this. I hope everybody at home as well. We would ask you again, please like and subscribe. We are here every Friday, and tomorrow again, the ministers are going to speak on history. I do know that the subject is very enticing. You can go through our YouTube channel. You will see various programs that have already been planned for the coming weeks. So be in tuned, and I would say thank you so much on this Sabbath day. Be blessed. Shalom, shalom. See you
Be
next time.
thin or be square.
Ciao, ciao, ciao.